Okay, so I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a look at my hotel room. So this is my room. King size bed. They call it a suite. But anyway, king size bed, and there's a fold out sofa sleeper over there. So it's meant to sleep for a number of people. If I remember right, it was $45 a night, which is really low. But I mean, it's an old hotel. But anyway, here it is. Well, after some searching around, I found the what they say is 2 Tesla superchargers. Looks like there's 3, but I don't have my car, so I can't try it out. I've already parked my car. Anyway, I don't know what to make of this because it always shows busy on my map, and yet obviously it's not busy right now, so I don't know. Anyway, 75 kilowatts. It's here. So what it is, it's right next to Holiday Inn Resort, or it's in their parking lot, which means it's not exactly open to use. But anyway, I have no idea. It'd be nice if it was out somewhere where we could get to it, but in theory, I could pull in here and plug in. The one cable did feel warm, so maybe it was in use. I don't know. Actually, I didn't try the other one. No, that's not warm. That's cold. Actually, that's cold. Okay, maybe I just thought it was warm. Anyway, here it is. For what it's worth, it's down here in the middle of all the resort things. So you have to do some searching, but come just past the Holiday Inn Resort check-in, and you're good to go. Sorry, I can't rate it because it was busy when I checked it on my car. So there you go. Okay, so there's the entrance to where you need to go back to get to the superchargers. Yeah, I heard they're supposed to be shooting off some rocket today, right? Everybody's going down to the park, which is, I guess, the best place to go see it. Well, you don't necessarily have to drive down to get there. Okay, so what would a day at the beach be without some beach time? I know it's still dark, but you can hear the waves coming in. It's low tide, obviously. Okay, and if I recognize it correctly, that's the moon down there, or up there. So down here, I don't know if you can see it well, but there's the jetties, and obviously people have gotten out on the jetties and have lights decorating their spots. Anyway, decent harmony. start taking it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those few moments. Very relaxing to listen to the waves at the beach. But then again, I'm a water sign, so you expect that. Anyway, so what I'm curious about is there's a flashing light down there. I'm guessing that flashing light is about where Starbase would be. So there we go. Okay, so I'm not sure about that flashing light, although it doesn't make sense it's a flashing light. Maybe Starbase? And this over here. This should look like the building, but I'm not sure. I'm curious. So I guess in the dark, it's easy not to see where I'm going. I don't know. Somehow I missed the jetties, but it is what it is. So I'm next to a boat ramp, and I believe we're looking across the water here at the launch facility. And then if you look over here, I remember Joe was mentioning some kind of watching site. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I can't believe you could be much closer than that. But here we go. Nobody's here. Quiet. Good view. Perfect. Okay, I guess this part's kind of amazing. I thought it was all closed, but maybe not the cut. Because that's a boat coming in. And earlier I think I saw a boat going out. So I don't know, but whatever. We're in countdown, so just waiting. Okay, so apparently SpaceX rented out the event center so their employees can come watch the launch. So I was sitting down by the boat ramp and peacefully, calmly, just not doing anything. But then some people came up, they were going to supposedly fish, I guess, because they had fishing poles. And some guy stepped up from behind me and said, "Hey, are you SpaceX employees? Blah, 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 blah. You can't be here." Okay, whatever. Now, I was there before he came in, so maybe he just assumed I belong there. Anyway, so I've been kicked out. Oh, whatever, it's cool. Alright, so here comes a proper ship coming into port. Interesting. And of course, it is sunrise. We're close to it. Well, looks like they canceled. I know there was some discussion about some kind of pressurization problem. And you probably can't see in the video, but I can see there's some vapors, cloud, whatever, coming off the rocket. So I guess they're unloading. So, and everybody left, including a lot of SpaceX people. So it is what it is. And see you later, Padre. So there's the event center where all the SpaceX employees were. Looks pretty empty now, doesn't it? Yeah, it feels really close from right here. I want to see what's throwing me off. There used to be a restaurant right there. At least I remember there was. And there's not a restaurant anymore. I walked right by here early this morning in the dark. Okay, well, that makes sense what happened, but okay. You expect things to change after a while, right? So there it is. Okay, like I said before, I'm not doing my job unless I give you some ocean waves. Whoa, it's getting higher now. Anyway, yes, water is a bit chilly, but I guess get used to it after a little bit. There you go. I got my feet in the water, okay? Okay, and the aftermath of the parking apocalypse. So if you look back around, back that way. And so I saw some people they're so desperate to get going, they're edging in front of another car who's coming right up to the edge of their paint. Anyway, whatever. Peace and harmony. Some things are just not worth being stressed out about. Well, that was a bit disappointing, I'll tell you. I mean, I get it. I heard some announcements about some pressurization problem, and you don't launch a rocket that's not holding the pressure correctly, because that means there's a leak, and that means there's a possibility of explosion. So you can't launch under those conditions. So anyway, now I'm debating, should I stay or should I go? I only got the hotel for one night. I almost got it for 2, and I pulled off on that. But if I had got the room for 2 nights in a row, then I would stay. But I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, you are so close down there at the tip of South Padre Island in the park. You're close. And I think actually you could be on the beach just north of the jetties. I mean, you wouldn't see the initial start, but you know, once it's up in the sky some, you're going to see everything from that point on. So I mean, there was people who were crowding in and standing in front of other people, and people are getting upset. You're like, it doesn't matter. I mean, I get if you went to see it initially lifting off the pad, then it really matters. You have to be close enough to see it. And you can if on the tip of the channel, nobody can stand up in front of you, you can see it, all of it. But whatever, it's fine. Anyway, I don't know. I can't, obviously I am disappointed. But anyway, that's the way it is. Onward, upward. Okay, so I'm back in Hollingen again. Ooh, 25 minutes, really? Anyway, charging back up. I didn't run preconditioning very long, so I'm sure the battery might be a little bit cold from its perspective, but whatever, we're here. Although we are doing the 160, so that's not bad at all. Anyway, after that, I guess I'm on my way back. Okay, so I thought I'd throw this in for those of you who don't know it. So apparently the etiquette is if you're waiting in line, you pick to pull up in the parking space across so you can see when people leave. Okay, where are you? So, here we are. There's the message. Consider navigating to a less busy supercharger. This is what Tesla thinks of the Kingsville superchargers. Okay, well, it's a good thing I wasn't counting on it. They must have a line of at least 10 cars sitting there. Oh my goodness. So that's why you don't want to go to the Kingsville supercharger. Now, is that just because of some SpaceX event down in the valley? I don't know. But whatever, blow that off. Maybe another day. So no Kingsville. Okay, so here we are in Corpus Christi supercharger. Pulling pretty decent rates. What I'm hoping is if I can make it to either Buc-ee's or to HB Shirts, either one will work. Shirts I don't have reporting for some reason, so I need to get that. Anyway, and once I get there, I should be able to get the rest of the way home. So we'll go from there. When I pulled in, it jumped right up to 251. So great, I love it. And even now at 33%, it's still pulling 179. So that's okay, decent. So that part's good so far. Okay, so I don't remember exactly what all I said about Kingsville, and I certainly didn't stop since I was already kind of preconditioning, and I didn't want to waste the heat and the battery. So I moved on to Corpus Christi, which I knew I could make. I mean, I originally started out with, well, can I make it into Corpus Christi? Yes, I can. So do I need to stop in Kingsville? Not really. And the car was telling me I shouldn't stop there either. So I kind of knew I'd be okay. So there you go on that. I kind of blasted Tesla, but I don't know. I mean, there's two possibilities. One possibility is, maybe there's a lot of kids at Corpus Christi A&I or whatever they call that school now. So maybe it's just everybody's lined up getting charges, or it could be that with the SpaceX launch, which didn't happen. But anyway, when it didn't happen, the rumors I heard were basically, oh well, they're going to delay it till Thursday or whatever 420 is. Well, for those of us who came from out of town, that's kind of sad. But anyway, whatever. I understand. That could be why I'm facing so much traffic in several places, because I will tell you that Harlingen was busy. It wasn't horribly busy, but it was busy. Kingsville, oh my goodness. I don't even want to think about what Three Rivers must be, because when I came down, I stopped at Three Rivers. Oh, that was horrible. So I don't know. So I'm blasting Tesla at the same time. Maybe I'm not being completely fair, and I'm pretty sure that they'll go back and review data, and if they need to add something, they will. It certainly would be nice if Corpus Christi had something that was right out there with the intersection with I-37 and I-69E, or whatever you want to call that one, US 77. Anyway. Peace and harmony, all good. Let's move on. Okay, so stupid geek things, right? Anyway, here we are at the Tesla Service Center store in Corpus Christi. Man, compared to what I have at Palm Springs, this is small. Anyway, here we are. There's not very many cars here, but at least there's service here. Okay, so that was interesting. Apparently, northbound I-35, right around Topperwine, the left two lanes were blocked because of an accident or something like that. Anyway, traffic was crazy. I managed to get out to the frontage road, but I think the frontage road was actually going slower. Anyway, I worked it around, and eventually I made it to HEB Plus, so I'm good. But HEB Plus insurance, and what the car is saying is it wants me to charge up. Okay, so anyway, we've covered 805 miles, used 232 kilowatt hours, and averaging 288 watt hours per mile. Let's see, since last charge I dropped down to 249 watt hours per mile, but I took a break, and on that break my average came back up. I guess I added a mile or two. Well, also you're starting to come into San Antonio, starting to get more elevation, I guess. That's probably the excuse I would stick with. But I mean, it's going okay. Not great, but it's going okay. So I charged up in Corpus, and I couldn't get Tesla to skip Three Rivers, and I definitely didn't want to go through Three Rivers. Go to Three Rivers again. So what I did was I just drove slower, so about 68 miles per hour in the 75 zone. Relatively speaking, that's slow, but it's still going along at a pretty decent clip. It just feels slow because everybody's flying by you, or a lot of people are flying by you. But it made the difference. Before, the car wouldn't allow me to put in shirts. And so Search is the closest supercharger from Corpus other than Three Rivers. or going to Austin. Um, so with the slowdown, I managed to save some energy. And a little before Three Rivers, there was a parking area. Pulled out in the parking area, cleared all the navigation, and re-put it in, and it allowed me to go to Shirts. So that's why I did that, and it worked out good. Anyway, onward, upward charge. Okay, home again, jiggity jog. I ended up with 19% energy left in the battery when I got home. I think it was originally on 23 or something. I'm sorry, I've forgotten, but anyway, got home at 8:10. Mileage is 904 miles. Total energy was 257 kilowatt hours, and average energy is 284 watt hours per mile. So overall, not too bad. I'll have to sit down and try to summarize what we have for each day and go from there. But anyway, whatever, I'm home, so that's the good news. So let me throw this in the middle of everything else. One of the questions you might have is, where should you go to view this? I mean, obviously, Isla Blanca Park on the southern tip of South Padre Island is the most likely place. They closed the road out to Boca Chica Beach, so you can't go out that way, at least not on launch day. And I'm not sure. There's a place in Port Isabel, which is on the mainland side, so to speak, that people were talking about, but it's a little bit further away. So basically, you want to go down to the park, find a place along the south side. Basically, to me, that's like the jetties, but a lot of it was beach, which is different than I remember from when I was much younger. But there it is. So on the 17th, so Cameron County has a convention center thing there. There's a boat ramp that's just west of it, and that boat ramp was pretty good. Actually, that's my secret place. I don't want you to know to go there. Anyway, no, seriously. I mean, that seemed pretty good because it was isolated, quiet. Now, if it was open, there might have been a lot more people there. Okay, so just east of the convention center, there was an open area, and that seemed pretty good. Other than a lot of people coming in late would crowd into that space and be in front of you. So I actually found a log that was next to the sidewalk, and I sat on that log. That was convenient. There were some people on the other side of the street. You could kind of hear them talking, and after a while they said, "Oh, we have to move across the street." So then they end up sitting almost right behind me, and they were talking blah, 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 blah. Anyway, whatever. So I think on that log or in that general area was really good. Now, part of the reason why it was good was we're real close to the SpaceX thing. So maybe you couldn't make out what they were doing, but when they're playing music, they're not focused on it. And when they're making announcements like, "Oh, something's going on." And when the SpaceX people started walking out, like, yeah, we're done. So, I mean, that place was pretty good. So I was happy with it. For those of you who know who Ellie in Space is, so there's a Jesus statue that's a little bit further east from there, and that's where she and Joe were. So she said something about having some chairs up against the statue stones, which would make some sense. I mean, then you're reserving a space. It's mine. Don't go here. That works. Any of those spaces along there should work. Now, some people getting upset because people were standing in front of them. You know what? if you really, really need to see the moment they ignite the rocket, you need to get closer. But the problem is, if you get closer, you go sit on the edge of the beach or the sand. In some places, it's you can go sit on the rocks, but then you're probably just a little bit too low to see that moment. And I'll tell you, from my viewpoint, once the rocket cleared the tower, you're going to see everything anyway, so it didn't matter. Okay, so that's those areas. There is some jetties that protrude out of the south end of the island, and I'm trying to think. Anyway, whatever. You could go on those jetties. I'm not that familiar with. I mean, I've been out on the jetties a couple of times, but it's been a long time, so I don't remember exactly. But if you get out in there somewhere where you're sitting on the southern edge of the jetties, that should work out. Now, with all that said, if you could get down there with your RV and park in one of those RV spots on the south end, you can just look out your window. Or you can climb up on your roof and watch it from the roof, which would be actually a good viewpoint. There are some condos that are a mile and a half further north, or maybe 2 miles, whatever it is. If you got a south-facing patio that's a third story or higher, you're going to have a great view. And I know when I went to where the supercharger was over there, I heard people out there on the patio talking away. So I mean, if you can do that, do that. But if you're walking in or driving in the same morning, anywhere along the southern tip should work. Anywhere along the jetties should work. Okay. So the other thing I would say is, you could just go on the beach just north of the jetties. Now, will you see the beginning of it? No, you won't. But about the time the rocket's clearing the tower, from that point on, I think you probably just about see all of it. Or close, anyway. So that would be a pretty good spot, too, I think. But anyway, there you go. It was such a crowd. I mean, going down again for 420, I don't think I want to do that. But what I'm hoping is they're going to do another launch of a Starship at some point in the future. And I think I would like to go see that one, hopefully with less crowds. Because the second one's not as critical as the first one. Hopefully that's what everybody will think. Anyway, there you go. I hope that's helpful. If you can take a chance to go see it, why not? Okay, so this one came from Alien Space, and it surprised me because I was sitting like 30 yards away from these things. Anyway, so apparently there's some Tesla wall chargers down there just west of the convention center, in the boat ramp parking lot. It surprised me that it was there, but then again, I tried to sneak in quietly and not draw anybody's attention, so I didn't want to be looking around. Anyway, so if you have a Tesla, you're at the park, apparently you can plug in there and get a charge. It's only level 2, but it's something. Okay, so I mentioned sitting on the rocks on the jetties. I mean, I was aware of that possibility, but I met a guy while I was waiting in the bathroom line in Hollingen, actually. He said he was from Edinburgh, so he drove down that morning. And what he basically said was he found a spot in the jetties where he could sit as close as possible, and maybe he got a little bit wet, but nobody was getting in front of him. So if it's really important, that's something to think about. There you go. Okay, so let's summarize this trip back if we can. So Monday, April 17th, total miles covered, 452 miles. The time I recorded was 8:58, so basically 9 hours back, as opposed to 10 hours on the way down. I don't know why it's... I'd like to think maybe I would spend more time just directly going, but I'm not sure why there's a difference there. And out of that 9 hours, 1 hour spent charging. So I made 3 charging stops. So that's part of it, right? I didn't stop as often. So coming back, I was really focused on just getting back. As opposed to when I went down, I was kind of playing around a little bit. So there were some differences there. Okay, 452 miles, 9 hours. I added 155 kilowatt hours. Those 3 charges. Well, I've also included, when I got back home, I put it on the wall charger to charge it back up to 80%. Okay, so 155 kilowatt hours for the day. The total cost for that is $43.32. I covered the charge time, so there we go. And I didn't waste any time. I did stop a couple of places. I stopped at Whataburger to get lunch to go. I didn't record that time, but that's a normal thing, regardless of what kind of car you're driving. So no big deal there. I'm just I'm pondering why was it so, because coming back from Padre, or South Padre Island, the traffic was horrendous coming across the causeway, the bridge. I mean, it was just crawling. The traffic in San Antonio, south of the Topperwine, was the exit. It was crawling. Apparently, there was an accident that left 2 lanes up there. So I'm just kind of pondering why is there an hour difference? So going down 281, coming back was up US 77 or I-69E, depending on how you want to call it. But I can't believe that's that much more direct. Well, I guess it is kind of more direct, isn't it? No, it's about the same difference. Anyway, whatever, peace and harmony. That's a summary. We're good. Overall, I enjoyed this trip, although there was some stressful moments, but it's okay. It all worked out. So there you go.